Hello guys, welcome back to our anime moment. Guys, please like the video and subscribe to my channel. Today is explanation of Renegade Immortal episode number 248 based on novel. So let's start. It was as if he was that boy who saw Celestial Emperor by Fan, who raised his hand and summoned 9 black dragons. The heavens and earth changed colors and all creatures had to die before these 9 roaring black dragons. Wang Lin's eyes revealed a mysterious light and his hands formed a seal. The eyes of the 2 roaring black dragons gave off a demonic glow. This light was profound. It was as if at this moment, these 2 black dragons had gained souls or had awakened from some kind of sleep. They carried with them an ancient aura as the powerful black wind blasted toward the 4 heavenly blades. The heavenly blades were sharp enough to cut anything in the world, but they couldn't cut the souls of the black dragons. The first blade fell with a heaven-shattering explosion. When this blade fell, it took the attention of all the spectators. It was as it could devour everything, and when it descended, space itself twisted as if it was about to be torn open. One of the black dragons raised its head and let out a roar as it charged toward the heavenly blades. There was an earth-shattering explosion when the first blade fell, but a crack appeared its tip and continued to spread. The crack spread like crazy and, following a continuous rumble, the entire blade collapsed. At this instant, the second blade descended from the sky. The moment the second blade descended, it created a storm. This storm was too powerful, and as it fell, large amounts of spatial cracks appeared around it. All the fragments of the first blade were absorbed by the second blade. The second blade fell with a mysterious whistle. An endless rumble that replaced all sound within 10,000 kilometers echoed through the ears of all the cultivators. The eyes of some of the weaker cultivators immediately turned blurry. The second blade absorbed the force of the first blade and collided with the black dragon. The black dragon let out a mad roar and its entire body trembled. It jerked its head and then the second blade also collapsed. The third and fourth blades immediately followed and absorbed the fragments from the previous 2 blades. The third blade dissipated by itself and fused with the fourth blade, creating an unimaginable force. The black dragon collapsed into black wind and roared like crazy. The fourth blade also collapsed at the same time. The light screen also collapsed as it could no longer withstand the impact. It shattered into countless pieces and the light screen surrounding the arena no longer existed. There was nothing blocking the fierce impact, so it was now spreading out. This caused the expressions of the surrounding cultivators to change greatly. All the elders of the families quickly used spells to protect their family members. However, all the blue stones were pushed back and even more directly exploded into dust. At this moment, everything within 100,000 kilometers seemed to enter a catastrophe. The black-robed man sitting on the red stone had a pale expression and his eyes were shining brightly. The red stone under him shattered and he jumped into the air. The 5 remaining blades flew into the air and followed the black-robed man. The black-robed man quickly retreated with a pale expression. For blades were able to destroy a black dragon, and such a battle was already shocking. Wang Lin's eyes were cold as the second black dragon charged out. "Don't you want to fight? Why are you retreating?" Wang Lin took a step back and merged with the black dragon. Then he rushed out toward the black-robed man. The black-robed man's eyes shined brightly, revealing a powerful battle intent. His foot stopped as his hands moved before his body and he shouted, "Devil-slaughtering heavenly blade." The 5 blades around him began to shake and emitted a sharp blade him. They began to rotate, formed 5 rays of silver light, and shot toward Wang Lin. The 5 rays of lights turned into 5 heavenly blade and suddenly smashed down on Wang Lin. The black dragon roared and its eyes lit up as it shot out. As Wang Lin stared at the heavenly blades, the painting from the 9th floor of the collection pavilion became even more clear in his mind. "Call the wind, summon the rain, magical arsenal." At this moment, the words on the painting appeared inside Wang Lin's mind. The ghostly light inside the black dragon's eyes became even stronger and it opened its mouth. However, this time he didn't only blast out cold air. There was also rain. Although there wasn't much rain, there were indeed raindrops. In an instant, the black wind swept the area with about 100 drops of rain mixed in. The area was immediately surrounded by a damp and cold aura. As soon as the raindrops appeared, cracking sounds came from the 5 heavenly blades. The black dragon let out an angry roar as it charged out and faced the 5 heavenly blades. Boom, boom, boom. Continuous explosions occurred, causing space itself to shake and causing powerful impacts to spread. Thousands of cultivators retreated, only those powerful enough to withstand the impacts could stay and witness the collision of these two powerful spells. The roars of the black dragon still echoed, but its body had disappeared and the black wind was gone. Wang Lin's face was slightly pale as he retreated a few steps, but his eyes shined brightly. This person has a similar cultivation level to mine, but he is a powerful enemy. Wang Lin's eyes lit up as his body flickered and he merged with the world. The black-robed man quickly retreated. His face was pale. All 5 heavenly blades being destroyed had damaged his mind, but there was no fear in his eyes. Instead, they were filled with even more battle intent. After letting out a mad laugh, his right foot took a step and his body stopped. When his right foot landed, a loud crash came from the space behind him and large amount of cracks appeared. Delightful. Ever since I, Gongan, completed my blades, aside from senior, no one at my cultivation level has been my adversary. When I was at the ascendant stage, I was number 1 under the illusory yin stage. When I was at the corporeal yang stage, I was number 1 under the nirvana scrya stage. You are qualified to become my opponent. The black-robed man, Gongan, laughed like crazy while both of his hands formed a seal. In a flash, the space before him twisted and 9 illusory blades suddenly appeared. However, just as the 9 illusory blades appeared, a ripple appeared beside him. Wang Lin walked out with 2 fingers forming a sword and pointed at him without any hesitation. This point contained his Tao and his Nirvana Scrya origin energy. With a point of his fingers, the black and white fishes appeared. They rotated to form a sealing force that flew toward Gongan. Gongan suddenly turned around and quickly retreated. His hands quickly formed a seal and it flew toward Wang Lin. However, Wang Lin had appeared too suddenly and too close, so only 2 of the 9 blades were able to block Wang Lin's attack. Wang Lin's eyes were filled with indifference and the 2 illusory blades immediately collapsed. Borrowing the collapse of the blades, Wang Lin's fingers pointed toward between Gongan's eyebrows. Gongan's pupils shrank and a sense of a life and death crisis he had never felt before appeared. At this moment, he didn't hesitate. His palm released a silver flash and collided with Wang Lin's finger. With a bang, a powerful origin energy rushed into Gongan's body. His body shivered and was thrown back. Blood came out from his chest, but he forced the injury down. What terrified him was that the other party's origin energy was actually at 2 strands, 1 white and 1 black. The 2 strands constantly caused destruction inside his body and were very tough. There were also fluctuations of domain coming from them. Wang Lin already lost feeling in his fingers. Although his sneak attack was successful, his opponent had managed to block it and some of the enemy's origin energy had entered his body. It was something he could resist, but Gongan's origin energy was like an extremely sharp blade that wanted to tear his body apart. There was a flash of cold light in Wang Lin's eyes. He didn't retreat but instead took a step forward and merged with the void. When Gongan saw Wang Lin disappear once more, his pupils suddenly shrank. Both of his hands quickly formed a seal and he shouted, 9 tune blade formation. In an instant, the 2 collapsed illusory blades took form once more and formed a blade formation with the other 7 blades. The blades rotated rapidly, forming countless silver threads that revolved around Gongan, and then quickly scattered. Wang Lin's figure appeared 30 feet away from Gongan while the blade formation drew near. The beast bone on the back of his right hand lit up and immediately appeared. The silver threads gave off a grey light. Using this moment, Wang Lin suppressed the injuries in his body and disappeared without a trace. Gongan sucked in a breath of cold air and quickly retreated as he quickly shouted, "Stop, stop! I admit defeat. I'm not fighting anymore. You know spatial bending, how am I supposed to fight that? Stop!" He turned around and quickly retreated. I already gave up and you still haunt me. I give up, I'm not fighting you anymore. Nan Gonghan bitterly smiled. He didn't want it to end like this, but fighting a Nirvana Scryer cultivator that knew spatial bending put him at too much of a disadvantage. After he said that, the image he created of a powerhouse of this generation immediately collapsed. Wang Lin appeared 200 feet away from him. Wang Lin frowned as he looked at Nan Gonghan. He had spent his entire life fighting with people, but he had never met this kind of person. I'm not going to fight, I'm not going to fight. It won't be too late to fight once I comprehend spatial bending. Right now it is not worth it for me. I can't beat you. Nan Gonghan's face was gloomy and in a flash he retreated and rushed toward a red stone. There was originally someone sitting on the red stone, but with one stare from Nan Gonghan, that person immediately left. Wang Lin silently pondered for a while before he looked around and calmly said, "Are there any more challenges?" The surroundings were completely quiet. As Shen Gonghu silently looked at all of this, his dimmed gaze gradually became brighter. Although his gaze toward Wang Lin longer had that sense of fanaticism, the respect had returned. The surrounding cultivators all looked at Wang Lin, but in the end no one walked out. The purple-robed old man slowly said, "Shu Mu, first among the 108 chosen from the southern domain. In 7 days, follow me to the Thunder Celestial Temple along with the remaining 107 that will be selected." There were Nirvana Scryer cultivators that participated in the Celestial Title competition, but not many. Most of them were considered ancestors of their families, so they were tied down by their families and had to be cautious about all their actions and decisions. If these people fought in a competition filled with juniors, they would leave behind a bad name of snatching glory from juniors. As a result, it would overall negatively affect them. After all, many people had noticed that the 108 Celestial Title competition held by the Thunder Celestial Temple was meant for juniors filled with battle intent. Although it wasn't stated, others were able to discern it from various clues. As a result, it was uncommon for Nirvana Scryer cultivators to participate. There were a few of them in the southern domain and they were all ancestors of various clans, so there was no need for them to form a grudge with Wang Lin. After all, the name, Shu Mu, was too famous and the name, Master Demon, still contained a scent of blood. This Shu Mu had always been low-key, but now he was acting very high-profile. It was clear that he wanted first place, so might as well gift it to him. There was no need to compete with him for it and start a feud. 7 days of time quickly passed by. During these 7 days, Wang Lin cultivated in a residence prepared by a cultivation family on planet Earth Flame. He kept himself in peak condition to prepare for the finals in the All-Heaven Star system. During these 7 days, Shen Gonghu was the first to come to him. He didn't ask Wang Lin about Wang Lin's cultivation, he just asked about Dao and left with some gains. He bowed toward Wang Lin with respect in his eyes. Although it wasn't as strong as before, the current Wang Lin had gained his approval. After Shen Gonghu left, there were other people who came to visit. It wasn't until the 4th day that it quieted down. Wang Lin wanted to quietly cultivate, but there was someone disturbing him, and that person was Nan Gonghan. Nan Gonghan's goal of annoying Wang Lin was for spatial bending. Every time he visited, he would always give Wang Lin a headache. Eventually, Wang Lin was so annoyed by Nan Gonghan that he released Shulika. Wang Lin told Nan Gonghan that Shulika knew spatial bending as well. He didn't care if Nan Gonghan believed him and left to find a quiet place to cultivate. Poor Shulika. Although Nan Gonghan didn't believe Wang Lin, he found Shulika very agreeable, so he dragged Shulika to talk with him endlessly. At the start, Shulika didn't care, but as time dragged on, he wasn't able to bear it anymore. In the end, it became extremely painful. He couldn't beat Nan Gonghan and he didn't dare to resist, so was unable to leave. He could only agree with Nan Gonghan and endure the torture, hoping that 7 days would quickly pass and his master would return. On the 7th day, Wang Lin opened his eyes and disappeared. His divine sense spread out and found where Shulika was. However, when he saw Shulika, Wang Lin frowned. Shulika's devil's body became blurry and collapsed. Opposite of him, Nan Gonghan continued to talk. In a trance, Shulika saw Wang Lin. He became excited and desperately rushed toward Wang Lin. If he had tears, he would likely be crying right now. Master, you finally came back. Little Shu will never dare to have ideas anymore. Please, Master, let me go back. This person is too terrifying. Master, don't abandon me. Little Shu can't leave you. Shulika's voice was extremely miserable. This was the first time Wang Lin had seen Shulika in such a miserable state. He waved his right hand and put Shulika into his bag of holding. Then his gaze fell on Nan Gonghan. Nan Gonghan's mood was very good, but he had an awkward expression. He rubbed his hand and nodded. Brother Shu, your treasure spirit is very good. The moment I saw him, I could tell we would get along. In the future, we need to spend some quality time together. Wang Lin frowned, then he turned around, took a step, and disappeared. Nan Gonghan's face was filled with regret. He quickly followed and thought, what a good treasure soul. Unfortunately, I can't beat this Shu Mu, otherwise, I would steal it. The remaining 107 people from the southern domain had been chosen. The purple-robed old man took out a black stone and crushed it. Countless specks of crystal light appeared and an illusory formation appeared. This formation was very large, it was more than 1,000 feet wide. The purple-robed old man walked in first, followed by the two green-robed messengers. They disappeared inside the formation. The remaining 108 people gradually entered the formation. Wang Lin was one of them, and Shen Gonghu, Zhong Konglai and such were also among the 108 people. The formation flashed and disappeared along with the 108 people. The Thunder Celestial Temple was an extremely powerful entity in the All-Heaven Star system. As generations of people in the Thunder Celestial Temple expanded their influence, they had become the strongest force publicly in the All-Heaven Star system. The location of the Thunder Celestial Temple was a mystery, no one knew there it was. Even the messengers only went there by using a special formation. There was no other way to return. At this moment, the area within 100,000 kilometers of the Thunder Celestial Temple was restricted. Messengers and servants of the Thunder Celestial Temple filled the area. The Celestial Title competition was an extremely important matter for the Thunder Celestial Temple. Fighting within this area was forbidden, and if anyone violated that rule, the Thunder Celestial Temple would immediately intervene. There were 4 large transfer arrays around the Thunder Celestial Temple. One of the transfer arrays lit up and figures appeared out from the northern transfer array. Under the guidance of the messengers that went to the northern domain, the participants walked out one by one. These cultivators were all calm, very few people were excited after arriving here. When they appeared, they were filled with battle intent. Just at this moment, the southern and western transfer arrays also lit up and a large amount of people walked out at the same time. Wang Lin was among them. After he walked out, he looked around, but his expression didn't change at all. The Thunder Celestial Temple was like the imperial palace of a mortal kingdom. It was very majestic and was covered in restrictions. When Wang Lin felt the restriction fluctuations, his eyes narrowed. With his understanding of restrictions, he could clearly feel that the restrictions here had reached a terrifying degree. Even with his cultivation, if he were to rush into these restrictions, he would without a doubt die. It wasn't only the Thunder Celestial Temple. As Wang Lin looked around, he frowned even harder. Every single blade of grass, every plant, and even the clouds contain powerful restrictions. Wang Lin wasn't the only one observing the surroundings. Almost everyone else was doing the same thing. The formation to the east suddenly lit up and drew everyone's attention. The formation on the eastern side glowed intensely and 3 figures walked out. They were the messengers sent by the Thunder Celestial Temple. They all had extremely gloomy expressions and quickly walked out from the transfer array. One of them even looked back at the formation with fear in his eyes. Wang Lin's eyes narrowed. At the same time, a powerful smell of blood came from the eastern transfer array. The transfer array lit up and only one person walked out. There is no need to wait, I have killed the remaining 107 people. This voice was filled with a piercing chill, and after it fused with the scent of blood, it made everyone feel a rush of killing intent. Gazes moved like lightning toward the eastern transfer array. The figure inside the transfer array gradually became clearer, revealing the person. It was the slender figure of a person who looked about 30 years old. He was wearing a white robe, but he gave off no feeling of elegance and instead gave off a chilling aura. His eyes revealed a cold arrogance and were filled with killing intent. The transfer array flashed as the person walked out. As he did so, the scent of blood became even stronger and diffused through the air. A bunch of trash. The man's voice was calm, but when he spoke, it was as if thunder had exploded. All the cultivators here were the elites of the All-Heaven star system. After they heard what he said, all their gazes toward him turned hostile. Wang Lin's expression was calm and he withdrew his gaze. This man had the same cultivation level as him, both were at the early stage of Nirvana Scrya. However, Wang Lin had a strange feeling about this man. He could be sure that he had never seen this person before. Just as he was thinking, the white-robed man's eyes lit up as he looked through the crowd and locked onto Wang Lin. The moment he saw Wang Lin, he licked his lips and revealed a grim smile at Wang Lin. Wang Lin calmly looked back. Their gazes seemed to pierce through the crowd and collided with each other. Although their gazes were illusory, in truth, they contained their divine senses. The collision of their gazes was a battle between their divine senses. It was as if two sharp swords had crossed paths with each other, and it happened in an instant. The two of them immediately withdrew their gazes. The white-robed man's eyes lit up and he carefully looked at Wang Lin. When their divine senses crossed, not only was he not able to suppress Wang Lin, he had a feeling that his divine sense was going to be pierced. Wang Lin's expression remained the same and he withdrew his gaze. Although the other person's cultivation level was the same as his, early-stage Nirvana Scrya, there was a strange force inside that person's divine sense. Not many people could detect the contact they made, only 4 people in total. One of them was from the northern domain. He was middle-aged and his face was pale. The most strange thing about him was his right hand. He had 6 fingers instead of 5, another finger branched off from his thumb. The second person also came from the northern domain. He was a boy with a very large head that looked very uneven. However, there were 30 feet of empty space around him as clearly no one was willing to come close to him. This boy revealed a foolish smile. After looking at Wang Lin, he focused on the white-robed man, and his foolish smile intensified. The third person to notice was from the western domain. He was wearing a blue shirt and was very handsome. When he opened his eyes, golden light came from within his eyes. He stared at Wang Lin and silently pondered. The last person was naturally the person next to Wang Lin, Nan Gonghan. Just at this moment, red covered the sky and a large amount of clouds gathered. The clouds condensed above everyone to form an old man. He had white hair and gave off the air of a celestial. When he appeared, thunder appeared under him. It was as if he was standing on thunder. "I'm the Thunder Celestial Temple welcoming messenger. Was it you who killed the other participants from the eastern domain?" After the old man appeared, a powerful aura began to spread. From the origin energy he released, it revealed that he was at the mid-stage of Nirvana Scrya. He stared at the white-robed man and his voice was filled with majesty. "That's correct." The white-robed man's expression was calm. It was impossible to see joy or anger on the old man's face as he shouted, "What is your name and what family did you come from?" "Planet Donglin Shu family. The person from this generation that was sent out to be trained, Shu Ting." As the white-robed man spoke, he looked at Wang Lin with a grim smile. After he said that, especially when he mentioned Planet Donglin Shu family, it was as if a bolt of thunder had exploded among the cultivators. Some of the cultivators' expressions changed and they gasped. Some even subconsciously took a few steps back and their eyes became filled with terror. Perhaps the Xiong family was the most powerful family on planet Donglin, but in terms of fame, the Shu family was the most known. The Shu family represented endless slaughter. In each generation, the person sent out by the Shu family to train would set off a massacre. Anyone who dared to provoke them would have their planet slaughtered. The fame of the Shu family rose up again and again within these bloody storms. No wonder this person has dared to offend more than 100 cultivation families. The person from this generation from planet Wang Lin's Shu family that was sent out to train. It seems if anyone meets this person during the competition, they will without a doubt die. Forget it, planet Wang Lin's Shu family has always been ruthless. If things looks bad, I'll just give up. Bursts of chatter came from everywhere. The Shu family was too famous, and their methods of killing caused everyone's hearts to turn cold. The old man from the Thunder Celestial Temple frowned and said, "The battle for the 108 celestial titles will begin at noon 3 days from now. Later on, there will be people from the Thunder Celestial Temple who will give you all tokens and arrange places for you to stay." After he finished speaking, the old man paused for a moment. His eyes lit up and his gaze swept across all the cultivators. "Is Shu Mu among you all?" he asked. After he said that, aside from the southern domain cultivators, the cultivators from the west and north all became serious. The name, Shu Mu, was no less famous than planet Wang Lin's Shu family. In fact, many of them suspected that Shu Mu was from planet Wang Lin's Shu family. Wang Lin pondered a bit before he raised his head and calmly said, "I'm Shu Mu." In an instant, aside from the cultivators from the southern domain, who had complex expressions, the gazes of the cultivators from the western and northern domains all turned toward Wang Lin. "Master Demon Shu Mu. I didn't think he would actually participate in this. Shu Mu, Shu Ting, I wonder if the two have any relations." Not only did this Shu Mu not die while being hunted by the Yao family, he was able to even come here. He is not simple. So it turns that out he is Shu Mu. The six-fingered cultivator's eyes became cold and he carefully looked at Wang Lin. Even the big-headed boy's foolish smile froze and disappeared. Then his gaze fell on Wang Lin and the smile appeared once more. There was also that extremely handsome youth in blue. When he heard the name, Shu Mu, he was like an unsheathed sword as his gaze locked onto Wang Lin. Shu Mu? The person who Cousin Zafeng can't forget about. Killing intent appeared in eyes of the youth in blue. "Come with me, the Lord of the Temple summons you." The welcoming messenger looked at Wang Lin and revealed a rare kind smile. His body flickered and he flew off into the distance. Wang Lin pondered a bit. He didn't look at the gazes of the surrounding cultivator as he appeared in the sky and walked ahead. The old man from the Thunder Celestial Temple didn't fly every fast. As he moved ahead, the clouds before them split apart. Wang Lin calmly followed, and he didn't even ask a single thing along the way. The old man's eyes revealed a hint of admiration and he smiled. The Thunder Celestial Temple is very big. That place was merely the outer hall. I'm going to take you to the inner hall of the Thunder Celestial Temple. Wang Lin nodded and looked into the distance. As clouds passed by him, very majestic-looking palaces appeared before Wang Lin. There were too many palaces, though they weren't close to each other but scattered. However, if one only looked with their eyes, it was impossible to see where the palaces ended. The imperial palaces of mortals couldn't compare to this. Dense celestial spiritual energy filled the area as if it was the celestial realm. Wang Lin found that those palaces weren't ordinary. In fact, the dense celestial spiritual energy was coming from those palaces. The Thunder Celestial Temple has a total of 1,372 main halls. Each one of these halls was personally taken from the Thunder Celestial Realm by the Lord of the Temple. The old man's words were filled with pride. Wang Lin nodded and praised, "The Thunder Celestial Temple is indeed the most powerful temple in the All-Heaven Star system." This kind of praise was harmless, and Wang Lin had long understood formalities after his 1,000 years of cultivation. The old man smiled and said, "Fellow Shu's future achievements certainly won't be few. There will definitely be a place here for fellow cultivator." Wang Lin smiled and chatted with the old man. He looked ahead and saw that most of the Thunder Celestial Temple was shrouded in thin layer of mist. Almost every single place in the Thunder Celestial Temple was filled with restrictions. Wang Lin even found a lot of restrictions on the path they flew. If it wasn't for the fact that he was following the old man, just these restrictions were enough to stop him. As they continued to move forward, they eventually arrived at the center of the Thunder Celestial Temple. There was a large square here that was paved with blue stones, and thunder moved throughout the square. The square was very big, at least 10,000 feet wide, and it looked as if it was formed by a thunder leak. When the two got near, the thunder became a huge mouth and attempted to swallow them. The old man laughed as he slapped his bag of holding, and a large number of red fruits appeared in his hand. He threw the fruit into the mouth that was attempting to devour them. A low roar came from the thunder in the square. The fruits disappeared one by one and turned into liquid that was then absorbed by the thunder. This calmed the thunder down and it no longer obstructed them. Celestial Ascension fruits? Wang Lin looked at the fruits. Does fellow cultivators you find this familiar? What is sealed here is the clone of the Thunder Spirit that guards the Thunder Celestial Realm. Anyone who wants to enter the Thunder Celestial Realm must feed it a large amount of Celestial Ascension fruits. Otherwise, that beast won't let anyone enter the Thunder Celestial Realm. The last generation Temple Lord used a powerful spell and spent countless years to separate a part of that Thunder Beast so it could become the Thunder Celestial Temple's guardian beast. This video will end here.